number to file for correspondences, but we're keeping people's privacy. I have a whole list here of what's been received. I'm not going to go through them. You can see them on the presentation on the website. And the most recent ones I went to today, one was on Cindy Road, one was on Palomino Path, and one was on Cotton Hill Road. Those were the three that I went to today. I also went to looking downstream from the High Falls Industrial Park, and it was good that we went because one of the properties we saw that if there was an increase of water, it may affect a bridge over the creek, and we have to shore that up. So it was good that we went. The 5 areas that Walden is working on is the groundwater level investigation, that we have some properties that we're not sure whether we have no clear USGS wells near the area. So we're going to be investigating to see what the groundwater level is on that particular property when the aqueduct is operational. When it's not operational, we get real-time data for that particular property to see whether there is a change of the groundwater level and therefore they're being affected by the aqueduct, or is there no change? But that's going to be done by a contractor that's been approved by the town and by DEP, and we come to terms with the contractor. The town has to sign the contract, but we all come to terms with it. It's just a matter of signing the contract. The drinking water well repair and replacement, that also has been done. We have a contractor tomorrow. I'm coming back here. Actually, we're going to be visiting 9 properties and having pre-construction inspections of the 9 properties. The listing is each of the property owners have been told and agreed that a time for us to come up and see them. The purpose of the pre-construction inspection is to see how the contractor can get his equipment in, to dig a new well, where it's going to be exactly placed with the homeowner's consent. So they're going to say, yes, this is the plot we want to put it on, and everyone knows what to do. And then we're also going to schedule the actual inspection, the actual drilling of the new wells. So the homeowner's there to say, with the contractor and with Walden, to schedule the actual time and date when we're going to start the work. So that's going to happen, I expect, in the next 2 weeks. We're going to start work. The one thing that I did want to talk about, I'll get to it, I'm sorry. Then the improved drainage. After we have that, both the groundwater level investigation, the drinking water well and replacement, is then Walden is going to continue on with their drainage improvement. Walden has hired a professional geologist to help us in just looking at these designs to make sure they're appropriate designs. There are issues that are coming up that as we go through this, and they'll be discussed, particularly for things like Allen Street. We have problems with that, and a couple other ones that we have to deal with. The geotechnical investigation for the High Falls Industrial Park, Walden came up with a design, and it was about $3 million to do the work there. And DEP came back and said wanted an alternatives analysis to see whether there was a cheaper alternative. To do that, Walden would need to do a geotechnical investigation, and that's been drafted, and we're waiting for the professional geologist to give their comments and give costing. And then after Walden reviews that, we'll pass it to the town and to DEP for their review. And that will give us information of, is the material underneath the asphalt at High Falls Industrial Park, is it clay, is it sand? What do we need to do to be able, can we come with a cheaper design to get the job done? And the last is that we're also doing site-specific improvements. There are different sites that have different unique problems. Some of them need improved filtration systems. Some of them need different systems that are not within the categories before, and that'll be worked on. I have a listing here of the drainage improvement designs. I'm not going to go through the numbers. You can look at them. Anyone afterwards can talk to me about their particular site. So the next step is we're going to continue having bi-weekly meetings between the town of Marbletown, DEP, and Walden. And that would be, for representing the town, would be the supervisor and Mary Ann, who has been on those consistently. Thank you very much. I think they're very helpful. Part of the purpose of having that call as well as this quarterly presentations to make sure there's clear transparency to both the community and to the town board of what's going on. So there's no questions of what is Walden doing, how's the money being spent. Everyone understands that and is clear of what the progress is. So I'm very proud to say that we've gotten to the progress of now, we're actually going to be scheduling the drilling of the wells. So some of the people that we've been spending money that the wells, because they don't have wells, they're going to be having new wells very soon. So that's a positive thing. Part of that is that the aqueduct is scheduled to be shut down December 1st through December 15th. So my suggestion to everyone in the community is that you watch out everyone's unique property are there any changes during that time period? And if there are any changes, please document them as much as you can, photo documentation, written notes, whatever, to be able to say what has changed during that time. Whether a person has traditionally had water in the basement and suddenly it goes dry, whether the person has good water supply and suddenly the water supply is getting murky or has turbidity, or it doesn't, or it goes less strength or less volume. Anything that happens during this time is something that should be noted and documented and passed to me, and that we can investigate.
What were those dates again?
December 1st through December 15th.
You're right, December 1st to the 15th.
All right. The groundwater monitoring that I talked about before, we're trying to have it done that the first step is before the aqueduct is turned off and just before the aqueduct is turned on. So that way we can get the maximum amount of time to see what the change in the groundwater level is. So whether it changes 3 inches or changes 20 feet, that makes a big difference. Okay. The insurance has been approved for the contractor for the wells, and the release form, which is what I want to talk about now, is it was the last one step. There was a conversation we had yesterday between the town supervisor and DEP. The final wording has been approved for that. The wording, when I go to the people tomorrow, the 9 people that are getting the new wells, I have not the copy, this is the original of the release form specifically tailored to them. One thing I do want to make clear that was told to me during that meeting, I'm going to ask the town supervisor to talk a little bit more about it, as this is specifically for the release for the work being done. This does not include that if there are other work that needs to be done, or some of the work that is done, years from now, no longer work. Can the supervisor talk about a few minutes?
Yep. Oh, so I didn't know if you wanted to finish. So basically, this is a letter that New York City requires for anybody that uses their funds or gets work done using their funds. So if you're getting a 350-foot well, you have to sign a release saying you will not sue the city for the 350-foot well. If it fails and we have to dig a deeper well, that will be covered. They'll dig a deeper well. Or if, your drainage changes on your property, then it doesn't preclude you from having additional work. It just basically saying that 350-foot well, DEP is paying for it, and you will hold them harmless and not sue them or their agents or their employees for that well. So.
Okay,
Right.
Thank you very much. And when I speak to the people tomorrow, I plan to tell
Yeah.
them if there's any questions. Besides, it has to be notarized so they can go to the supervisor, the secretary, or notary to have it notarized, but I can't do the work, actually do the work until I get that release letter. And that's
I
what
can
I'll
give
do.
you my stamp if you want tomorrow. You could just
Oh,
sign my
I can't-
name. You could just
I
stamp
can't
it, sign my
I
name.
can't stamp. My stamp is a little different than your
All
stamp.
right.
Okay?
But the language is kind of scary when you read the language, and we were a little concerned about it, but New York City won't budge on it. That's in their constitution and their law. And, if somebody does not want to sign it, they will not get the work done. And their only option then is to file a claim with New York City on your own, but that's going to require hiring an attorney, hiring your own engineer, and it's just going to be cost prohibitive. So,
So are wells guaranteed to find water?
no, so
Who guarantees?
That's what I'm wondering. So
No,
you're saying if it fails.
so if these, so Ken will have his staff, somebody from Ken's staff will be at every well drilling. If the well driller gets to 350 feet and it's not yielding enough water, they'll give them the authorization to continue drilling. But we had to spec something out that Ken feels, in his professional opinion, will yield enough water for these properties. If in 2 months or during the shutdown or in 8 months, these wells fail, there is another option for deeper wells, water district. Those are all things we're exploring now.
So it's included in the plan.
So, try to answer your question more directly. Part of the procedures that Walden will have is when the well driller is done, he has to show to the satisfaction of both the Walden staff and to the homeowner that the quality and quantity of the water is sufficient. What do I mean by that? First of all, that there's enough water produced, because if there's not enough water, then we have to figure out what's the problem. Specifically, we'll see from the oils when they do the well, saying maybe they need to have a thicker column of sand or silt or shale to be able to make sure that there's enough water production. And if that's the quantity, and you have the quality, some of the water may be sulfur water, which is not acceptable to anyone. So we have built already in the contract that during the plumbing, after you do the well, you have to do the plumbing to get to the house. That if it's sulfur water, they have to install a whole house sulfur filter so that the property owner doesn't have to suffer with sulfur water anywhere in the house. And it's going to be a hydrogen peroxide, and then you have a filtration system. So that the reason of the hydrogen peroxide will bind onto the sulfur molecules. It will come out as pollution into particulates, and then the filtration will keep it out from going into the water.
Will winter impact the scope?
So that's part of the plumber's responsibility to make sure that the plumber, that they put the system in, below the frost line or within an area that doesn't get frozen, because otherwise it's useless. And I put that as a plumber's responsibility to make sure, doing professional diligence. If he puts it on the filtration system right above the ground, of course it's going to freeze. And that's not proper diligence.
Okay. See,
We went down 500 feet.
So it depends on where you are. We have some areas that people have gone 500 feet and they're not getting any production, and we don't know why. Because this is the maximum time they're having a 10 million gallon a day leak. The water table should be raised. If you're not getting water at 500 feet, I've talked to the professional geologists, and they said that would be a whole thesis of work to try to figure out why you're not having it.
Well, we got enough from the sides. We never hit
Well,
water.
but Vivi doesn't live near the aqueduct. Vivi lives up in, Ken is talking about in the area of the aqueduct. You're talking about at your house. So
Your particular house, I'm saying it very much depends on the geology that you're hitting. And, you may be going into an area, a lens that has a lot of granite and doesn't have enough porosity in the rock for the water to go through. And you didn't hit a shale layer or another type of layer of rock that the
We have
water
a
can go through.
4-acre pond there.
That could be from a whole different reason. It could be because of that you have clay, and the water the water in the pond has nowhere to drain into, because the coefficient of permeability of that clay is so high, or so low, really, that's so low, that it has no opportunity to drain into the soil, and your percolation it can't go through. The evaporation is not enough, and you can have a pond, even though your groundwater table may be very low.
Got a question.
Okay.
Am I to assume, are we to assume that the community well on Allen, serving Allen, Vicky, came in okay, there's no problems with it, or is that tested?
So.
We just talked about that half an hour ago.
Of that, the supervisor will be contacting that company, because I'd love to monitor them.
Yeah.
Because
So-
I really want to know the answer to that question, because if, God forbid, those people in that community, that production well goes dry, there's a lot of people that have no water, and that's a really tragedy, and that should not be.
right. So the good news is DEP's done 4-month shutdowns, 3-month shutdowns back in 2021, 22, 23. They did periodic shutdowns. Those wells didn't go dry. We don't know. They may have dropped significantly, but not enough to go dry. So if we monitor them in this 2-week period, you may see they drop. but we don't know how much. So if you didn't go dry in 20, 21, 22, when they did these much lengthier shutdowns, we're hopeful you're not going to go
Well, it
down.
depends upon if there's, we've had a significant drought also.
That really,
Right.
the rain and the groundwater are not directly linked. They're linked in the long term, not in the short
In the
term.
long term, yeah, it goes into the aquifer.
And I'm saying you go, no, in the short term, rain goes, when it rains, you have the vegetation absorb some of it, the surface layer of the ground absorbs some of it. But if it's a heavy rain, the top layer of the soil gets saturated and the rest has to run off. But if it's a slower rain, then the water that's in the ground has an opportunity to go deeper down, and therefore it can absorb more water. That eventually drains down into the aquifer, which is what you're pulling water from with your well. That's a slower process that's seasonal.
Well, our water is not drinkable. I mean, it's potable. I mean, it doesn't make you sick, but it tastes so terrible that we also get water from city water. We get water delivered. It's just impossible to
Right.
drink.
For people that don't know what Sharon's talking about, Sharon lives in a small development with about 35 homes, and about 30 of them have a private water company. A lot of people don't know in Marbletown, there's a private water company off of 213. So that well is almost directly above where the aqueduct is. So we don't know if if Ken wants to get in there to monitor that to see if those wells drop. So yeah, we're going to come up with a plan to reach out to the owners.
I specifically want to know is the depth of that well and what the depth of the water is during the shutdown. If they have still, 200 feet of column of water after the shutdown, I'm not worried about it. Because there are the long-term repair, which is going to 7 years from now or so, they're working on. You have the short-term shutdown, which causes a significant drop. And then you have the long-term shutdown, which is more asymptotic. It goes very slowly over a long period of time, which can cause about another 100% loss. But if you have so much column of water, I don't expect in any way it could drop that much. So maybe if it drops 50 feet, you still have another 200 feet to go. You should have enough. But on the other hand, there are other factors that can affect it. So if you're overdeveloped an area and everyone's drilling and going into the aquifer to pull it, that's pulling the water can lower the aquifer level down if you have too much production of water.
Great. Okay, we're going to let Ken finish up, and then so Ken will be available for a couple minutes in the hall if anybody has specific questions for him when he's done. So Ken,
So I'm almost done.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm almost done saying that. So we've done the release letter. So now Walden is going to be spending time finishing up the well and the well drilling and the monitoring of these wells. And I'd like to continue doing more for other purposes of being able to water supply study. And then Walden's going to work on the active drainage design, which some people in this audience want to see the improved drainage, and there's some number of issues that have to be dealt with about that. And then we'll continue on and continue getting work done. So I can't tell you a particular time frame because we only have so much staff working on it, but we are moving as we can.
Okay.
Any questions?
Did you take applications from businesses also, or just homes?
So that's the question.
Anybody in the area B, businesses,
Restaurant.
private homeowners, private businesses, pub.
And what is somebody asked me, what is the deadline for taking application?
We have about 2.5 years left. It was a 4-year program. So we're about a
My
year.
contract is at the end of June 2028.
Yeah. So we've got 3 more years almost.
But now, the good part of that, now we've gotten the contract with the drinking water wells. A few people got accepted recently for drinking water wells. Since we have a contract who has insurance, now it's going to go a lot faster for them.
Yeah.
Do you-
Going to pay for the restoral of the landscaping that might be disturbed in this process?
That was the intention that we wrote in the contract. So when, for example, if somebody's getting a drinking water well and they have to do a new plumbing line and they're disturbed 6 feet by 4 feet, they're going to have to go and fix
Yeah, they'll fix.
that was written in the contract.
Yep.
I'm just gonna say, do you recommend, since the shutdown's December 1st through the 15th, that applications go in before, so you have a baseline during that?
I recommend applications come in whenever they feel comfortable, as soon as they can.
So we're going to monitor wells. They don't have to be people who've already submitted claims.
Right.
We can monitor your well. We can monitor anybody that lives in the area B. So they don't have to have submitted a claim by then.
I haven't still gotten your application.
I know, I started it twice. so
I've given them your number like 4 times.
I get stuck and get distracted.
Example was, somebody sent me an application yesterday morning. They didn't know that I'm coming today. So I just said I have some spare time today, so I was here today. So it's my schedule is very dependent on when I'm coming up here.
I'll get it done.
Okay. Thank you, Ken. So Ken, you'll be available in the
I'll be
hall?
outside in the hall if anybody has any questions.
Are you-
For that.
Are we going to see you tomorrow, or you're just going to go to and then head out?
If you want to see me, I'll come
So
by.
call me during the day or whatever. We'll talk.
But I'm gonna be here at 9:30, going to different places till about 2, and then I have a call 2. So if you want to see me, I can see you after that.
You can bring donuts. You can come see us.
Donuts is, I told you, donuts around the area, good donuts only come in December time.
All right. He's got the best donuts you've ever eaten in your
Now,
life.
if you want bagels,
We like bagels. too.
anytime you want bagels, that's easy. We got good bagels, New York City bagels.
All right.
They're good ones. And the real cream cheese, not the.
But we have bodacious.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken.
Okay.
Good job. So we'll
Thanks,
talk to
Ken.
you tomorrow, some point
Tomorrow,
or the next.
call.
Great. We're going to move on to vouchers.
Okay.
So if anybody would like to speak, Ken.
Salmon.
Okay, Heather's going to go to vouchers.
So there are no amendments from the October 7th meeting. And tonight's vouchers, I have general vouchers number 597 through 638 for a total payment of $57,585.29. For the highway fund, I have vouchers number 278 through 296 for a total payment of $23,801.01. For the High Falls Water District, we have vouchers number 131 through 137 for a total payment of $5,821.48. For the RMC, I have vouchers number 155 through 162 for a total payment of $4,863.76. And for the community preservation, we have vouchers number 11 through 12 for a total payment of $2,945.99. If I could have a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions?
For just the last one you did for the Hudson and Pacific, the Preservation Fund. This is for Meadows. This is for Meadows.
Yep, it's for Stefan.
Where are we in that process, or is this like? where are
So
we in the
this
invoice?
is the last payment in his
It is.
current contract. We are really just waiting to hear back. I mean, we've got a good set of plans, right, Daisy?
Great plans.
Great plans. We're just waiting to see if we get the grant or if we're going to have to use our own money. You know, the preservation money. If we get the grant, then we'll match it with the preservation money. So we're really ready to go.
And that will determine too,
How much we
how
can.
much work we can do.
I mean, we were ready to go out to bid
Yeah, we could have
in
started.
May and June, but then we said, why don't we just try one more year to apply for this grant? Because
Because
it's up to $600,000.
and if we get if we get this money to help, and one of the arguments we used for the grant was the trail will be ADU, so that's the state wants that. So, you know, so then if we get that, then perhaps we could do a few other things, you know, above that.
Do you think that we could get an update at some point just from the designers or from the subcommittee
Sure.
to like where we
Have
are?
you seen them, Tim? I mean, you should have been included in those. I mean, we can send them to you.
Yeah.
We've got a new parking layout. You know, the trail around the loop is kind of the same as it's always been.
Right.
But we have a new parking layout because we're busier than we expected. And then I mean, they're rough drawings. They're drawings, but they're not like pictures.
I mean, and the loop is, the loop, which we've always wanted, that was always the idea, was to build up that loop around and make it so that everybody can use it. But the decisions on where to put it have really come down to engineering. I mean, just where it was
Yeah.
possible and viable to do it, so.
But yeah, we can get you, I'll email them to you tomorrow. Great. Any other questions on the vouchers? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And Rich, I'm gonna send that now.
I'm sorry, I'm just writing my note in for you. Okay, now we're going to move on to the minutes. Heather sent the minutes out. Can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions on the minutes?
Good.
Good, Heather. Thanks. Anything? Tim?
No, I'd say you did a good job summarizing a complex discussion, so it was really good.
Good, good. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now we've got public comment. Before we get into public comment, I want to say hi to the Rondout students. Thanks for coming out on a Tuesday night. It's always great to see you guys. Expecting like maybe 20 years to see you guys sitting up here, and we'll be on the other side.
20 years.
Maybe sooner. Well, they got to enjoy themselves first, and then,
This isn't fun?
so, thank you all for coming. It's always great to see you here. Public comment. So do you guys all have the packet with the resolution so you can kind of follow us? It's in the back there if you want to grab a packet. There's none left? I only made 10, I'm sorry.
Have to share.
Yeah, well, I can't make them now, so, thanks. Yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to have public comment. We have 4 resolutions tonight that we're voting on, and if anybody would like to comment on any of those 4 resolutions, you can raise your hand. There'll be an opportunity to speak at the end then also. So anybody like to speak on any of the resolutions? Okay, we're going to move on. Resolution number 82 is canceling the November 4th Town Board meeting, which is election night, and rescheduling it for Monday night before November 3rd. Can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the board about this? Everybody okay with it?
There's a slight possibility I won't be able to make the meeting.
Okay.
Are we voting on the budget that night?
I'd like to, but we don't have to.
All right.
I mean, it depends on what changes we make.
I think I can do it. I may have to.
Be remote.
Or cut out a little early, if we could do that first.
Yeah.
I may have to be.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution 83 is setting the public hearing for the 2026 General Highway Ambulance and Fire Protection Budget, and that will be on 6 o'clock on Monday, November 3rd. So can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution 84, setting a public hearing for the 2026 High Falls Water District budget. Can I get a motion for discussion? Everybody, that's going to be at 6:05. So we'll have, sorry, there's not a lot of crazy stuff on the agenda for the kids tonight, but this is mostly like just, so that will be at 6:05. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Just for that, the water board and the water district board, would we expect them to be engaged somehow in that public hearing, or?
Generally not.
No.
But we can, I mean, we can give them the budget. I mean,
Right.
I don't know, you get the budget.
We have a meeting tomorrow at 4, so.
You could share with them. I mean, I don't think, they don't generally deal with the day-to-day operations.
Right.
And they're an advisory. They generally, it's such a small water district, it's hard to find people that live in the district to serve on that board.
All right, well, I'll see what.
Yeah. And Terry, I know Terry's we have to upgrade some equipment there. So there's going to be some significant expenses. So those are the kind of things to weigh in on.
Mhm.
As to the administration of it with, the staff and different stuff. They generally don't do that. So, is that all right, Tim? That answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Resolution 85 is an EMC, which is the Ulster County Environmental Management Council. Each town and village in Ulster County and the city of Kingston gets to appoint one member and one alternate member. Our member actually moved out of the town, Nikita. So we had not replaced him. His term ends at the end of this month. So Alan Newman from the current Environmental Conservation Commission member in Marbletown has volunteered to represent us on that county committee. So it's basically a county committee. So I want to thank Alan. And can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
He's really engaged in EEC and really
Okay, good.
passionate about the topic.
Cool. And yeah, and he's, it's good to have an advocate on there and somebody from, with our interests. So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now we're going to go, that's it with the resolutions. Now we're going to go to the budget discussions. And again, I put some budgets back there. I submitted the tentative budget. Heather, we handed it out last meeting. If anybody would like to recommend any changes, we can.
Have you made any changes since?
No,
Okay.
no, I actually can't make any more changes. Only the board can make them.
Just because I wanted it just to be, just so that I was completely open about this. The last couple of weeks I've been slammed with a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff and I wasn't able to look at it. So I had looked at it before pretty extensively. So I just wanted to make sure if there had been something, I wanted to let you know that I was going to look at it before we voted.
So basically what happens is the tentative budget is what the supervisor submits. Then when we've all kind of had an opportunity to look at it, we can, if we want to make changes, we can make recommendations, vote on it, and then that becomes the budget that the public hearing is on November 3rd. Once we have the public hearing, the board can change the budget again. So there'll still be an opportunity to change the budget. And, generally we change it if we get more numbers. We haven't gotten our liability insurance numbers yet. So I budgeted for a $10,000 increase, but if it turns out it's a $30,000 increase, I would make a recommendation to amend the budget, or if we had a $30,000 decrease, to lower the budget. So there's still an opportunity to change the budget. But if we don't make any changes tonight, the tentative budget, we just move it over to the preliminary budget, and then that's what the public hearing is on. And then again, after the public hearing, we can make changes.
I just had a couple of questions. There were a lot of expenses in the area of youth recreation and parks. It was a big difference from what was projected to what we spent, right?
What do you mean? You mean for next year?
Yeah, and how we're allocating. For example, I just wondered, like youth program administrator, the final budget last time was 58.5, and then the actual this year is 103.
What number are you on,
I'm
Tim?
sorry, it's
Page
page 6.
Page 6, okay.
And then we're projecting 62. So there's a big swing there.
Wait, so the 162.
Yeah, youth program administrator,
Oh, I'm looking.
103
Oh, I see it there.
actual.
You know why, Tim? Because it's a great question. If you look on the left, the A7310, you have
Yeah.
0.1, 0.2, and then 0.12.
Yeah. that
So-
is added.
So, 0.1 would be Jill's position. 0.2 would be Jess's position. And 0.3 would be all our youth workers and camp help and people that do other programming for us. When you're looking at the 103, that's all of them combined year to
Combined.
date.
Okay.
It's just the way the system does it.
Okay.
So if you look, we budgeted about 150 and we're at 103.
Okay. So then at the 140 then for this projection, I see.
For next year, so the youth programming, we increased that next year to 140 from the 55. because we took over the after-school program at Marbletown Elementary School. And we'll pay about 90,000 in salaries for the 10 months. But the revenue coming in, which I did include, I added the revenue, if you go to the revenue line, we're expected to take in a perfect world, about 13,000 a month. But I think I budgeted 11 just to be safe. We buy snacks for the kids after school, part of that money. And we also, right now there's a waiting list, so we'll probably do well with our revenue numbers, but I just figured I'd under budget the revenue just in case something happened. But, so this is really, even though you see the extra roughly 90,000 or 85,000,
Yeah.
we've got the revenue that will more than cover it, so. And I don't know, I mean, you guys are all, well, do you work there, right? How's it going? Good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. We have quite a few kids. There's like 50, 60. It's a lot, but me and Anya and
Oh,
our
Anya,
other
sure.
friend Abby all work there.
Good.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I know these kids work over at the they're high school students, but they come over and work in the program. And so you guys work for us. So there, we've got some employees
Yes.
here. So thank you. But I know from what Jill and Jess have said is the parents and the kids and everybody, you guys are doing a great job and
Yeah, it goes pretty smooth.
good. Yeah. Yeah, and then, so you don't go before school, do you? You're just after
No,
school.
We just do aftercare.
Right,
It's too much.
Yeah, well, you have to get ready for your day. So we do an hour before school, and then after school is 2 hours, but the parents can pick up after an hour or after 2.
Yeah, we normally get there at 2:30, but then kids come out of their classrooms at like 3:20, and then they can get picked up at 4:30 or 5:30.
At 5:30. And the old, when the Y did it, whether a parent picked them up at 4:30 or 5:30, they had to pay the same amount. They had to pay for 2 hours. Our program allows the parents to pay for 1 hour or 2. So we've been a little more flexible, and I know the cost to the parents has been almost cut in half.
Mhm.
How do
So
the kids get picked up?
most of the kids are Marbletown, still their parents pick them up on the way home from school. Most of them are Marbletown students, so they stay right after school.
Oh, I see.
So school gets over at 3:30, their
Their
parents
parents
are
are-
working, they can't get there, or they go home to an empty house. So we do this aftercare program. And there's a few kids that come from the middle school too, right, on a bus. Yeah, they've got some middle
it's
school
easier
kids.
for the parents to pick them up in one spot,
Right.
rather than just having to go to the middle school and then the elementary school.
Right, so they come over there, so.
Siblings.
So but thank you guys. I mean, so far I think it's new. Jill and Jess are spending a lot of time over there, just making sure that it's,
What's the grade range?
It's fifth graders to kindergartners.
Okay.
and Marbletown is K-3, so those kids would just stay there.
Yeah, they just.
And
go
then
right out of the-
any of the 4th and 5th graders would take a bus over
Over to
from the middle school
the elementary school.
or whatever the other school, they don't call it middle school anymore, but they've got what's it called?
Like junior high and middle school.
Is it junior high? Then it's, yeah, they got it.
Intermediate.
Yes, that's it, intermediate, that's it. They had to change the name when they moved 4th grade out of Marbletown.
yeah.
Because they had to add another school. So anyway, but thank you guys. So Tim, that's
Thank you.
to answer your
Nice to
question.
meet you and hear about the program.
Yeah.
And on page 3, I just the parks and buildings with the 250,000.
Yes.
Is that allocated toward anything particular? It's
Well, if you look on the left, we did the community center and the park.
so it's just a combination of.
Brian, our accountant, or Brian Picard, who helps guide us through this, he recommended last year, because we did have some projects at the park and possibly the community center, we should allocate money towards it. But if you look in the revenue side, there's also a revenue side of 250, which we would take out of our capital reserve or our savings account. So it's really budget neutral thing.
Mhm.
If we don't spend the money, we don't take the reserves out, if I'm making sense.
And then finally, on page 2, the engineering projections.
Yeah.
Like we had 72,000 for it, but then down to 20,000. What are we thinking there for engineering? Is that?
So good question. A couple things. One is the Dutchess Farm bills were coming out of that. Now, since the judge made the decision that the developer will pay all the bills, we no longer have to budget for it because we don't pay for it out of our. And the other one is, while we were waiting for the DEP project to be funded, we were paying Walden Engineering's bills
Mhm.
and we were taking it out of that line. So now we've been reimbursed for their bills and we no longer have to take it. We write the check right out of DEP's account. So, so
This is just in case then. No.
well, you know what? I mean, we'll still do projects if we hire an engineer to maybe write a grant for us, or or say the community center, we need some engineering work that would come out of this line. So,
Okay.
and if we do get that grant, or get money to help pay for that's going to eat that budget up and then some. So,
Okay.
but there'll be revenue on the other end to offset it. It's not a perfect. Believe me, I go through this. It's not a perfect science. It's try your best, but you just don't always know. Is that all right? Did I answer them all right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if nobody has recommended changes, we'll just move this over. Heather will put something in the Freeman for the public hearing, and then we all have, another 2 weeks to review the budget. You want to make some changes, we can make them after the public hearing, and it will not require another public hearing. So we don't have to have a second public hearing if we make changes. Is that all right? You good with that? So Tim, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
We'll just move this, that'll be the preliminary. We'll update the website, I'll get it out to you. And again, that's what our public hearing will be on. Other business? Kind of quiet. What do you got going on at Town Hall?
Trunk or treat?
Oh, yeah, Trunk or Treat's coming, that's at Town Park this year.
Right, yeah, and I think it's on October 26th.
Oh, it's gonna be this Sunday.
I think this.
Okay, so Trunk or Treat will be Sunday. All right, we'll get that on the website. It was gonna be here and then it just got a little confusing, so we moved it over. And then the college said no. College wouldn't let us go there.
Yeah.
Our friends at the community college who, I think they're anti-Marbletown some days, but that's all right. Look at Daisy. Yeah, the college said no. Imagine that. College doesn't want kids on their property trick-or-treating for trunk or treat, so.
The grouches.
The grouches. Yeah, the Grinch. So, that's, election day will be off. We had a really, nice memorial for Jeff up at the transfer station. Our transfer station attendant passed away and his daughter and her friend were up there. And, I was up there for a little while. I know Daisy stopped by.
Chuck went, my husband went.
Chuck went good. Yeah, did he say it was great? People had some donuts and cider and remembered Jeff and some people wrote some notes.
Right.
and
Was his daughter there?
His daughter
Yeah,
Tricia
he was
there.
sort of there kind of hosting.
Yeah, yeah. And Don LaFera did a really nice job setting up the table, putting it in a spot, having it cleaned up, and it was just an appropriate. It was a good fitting.
Yeah.
It's what Jeff would have wanted. So we're happy and thank Don for that. And then, yeah, I mean, Ken gave an update on the DEP. We're going to be the bathrooms at the park. Jill is working with Nadine and I, and hopefully get those to go out to bid soon and get those bathrooms going at the park. We got a grant from the county for $100,000. So we want to use that money and close that grant out. So Rochester did basically the same bathrooms and they came out really, really nice. So we're excited about that. Anything else from anybody?
I do. I went to the rescue squad meeting a week and a half ago, I guess. They have had 920 calls so far this year, and they're expecting to have about 1,200 calls by the end of the year. So they've been very busy, and it's really a great board to be on. I really
Yeah,
enjoy it.
They're a good group. Dedicated group.
How
And
does that compare?
A lot more.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Marbletown we average about 400 calls. So now that we
This is
added,
Rosendale and Marbletown.
and a little bit of
Right.
Ackworth, a little bit of Rochester. Yeah, I think Rosendale's added quite a few calls to the docket, but they have an extra rig. Rosendale's, paying for it, so it's worked out good. They're getting to their calls, so always good. Tim, anything new?
Yeah, just a few things. I wanted to say that Stuart, I sent the email, but
Yeah.
Stuart Lee is going to present at the Watershed Conference next Tuesday if people are interested, but we have the NPG water tests. They have preliminary results looking at the lower Esopus.
Yeah.
And
It's what we said it was.
yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to talk about
Are
it,
you
but
looking for the Rosendale board?
I mean,
Are you looking for the Rosendale zoning board
no,
or
I
Marbletown?
mean zoning board.
Yeah, it's down the hall.
Oh, down the hall.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
It's an
Where
empathy.
is the meeting?
it's going to be,
Is it the FDR? Did I
Yes.
see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this will be 9:00. It's all day on Tuesday, on the 28th. We want to go and it's.
He looks like he's from Rosendale, didn't he? I mean, he stood out as somebody that looked like he was a Rosendale person, so.
But Stuart will present with Teagan Bond.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to hear some good news from the report. The report will be ready in December.
Yeah, it's gonna be ready. I mean, it looks like it's horses, cows, birds. Kind of what we said it was.
Geez.
And we didn't even get $40,000. We knew that without, we didn't have to pay 40,000. We knew it.
But the water's in better shape than
No,
Yeah.
I think some of the tests have failed pretty good, haven't they?
Well, they're projecting, we may actually be in the safe
below
zone.
the threshold.
But I don't want to say, let them say.
Well, could the dry weather have had something to do with that?
Now it should have been the worst when they were testing it.
No,
So
it's
I don't know
wet.
about the.
Because when it's
drought.
wet, everything
Right.
comes from the landscape and
Yeah.
comes into water. So if it's rainy is when it's usually worse, not when it's
I
dry.
guess it depends on, because they've been testing for quite a while, so I guess it depends on what.
We didn't have much rain though. They were waiting to test after a rain event. I think they just did that last week.
Okay,
So we haven't seen that data yet.
okay.
So in December, when we get the report, we may have to decide what's the next step or whatever.
Yeah.
We had a resignation, as you saw, from the Parks and Trails rec. I want to thank Clay Stack for his leadership.
Yes.
He never missed a meeting. It was a year and he scheduled his vacation around the meetings. I thought that was a lot of dedication for the committee. So we'll need a new leadership there in that committee,
Yeah.
right?
So we should advertise. We do have another opening. We've got a couple openings on that board.
Parks, Trails and Rec.
Parks, Trails and Rec.
Did you want to say more about that or?
No, just that we got the letter and we'll be sad to see him go yeah, it'd be great to anybody that's interested. It's an interesting committee and a lot to do. There's a lot to get done. So reach out.
And then the Board of Ethics, you saw that Jen, the chair, recommended that we stay with the current procedures. And then in 2026, they'll make suggestions for revisions to the law.
And we need 2 new members there too.
2 new members, and evidently there are some volunteers already.
Well, they haven't confirmed, but they're asking people.
And then today someone reached out, and
Oh,
so
good.
Heather may get a application.
Good.
So that can happen. And then we're again working on the event in the spring. And again, they're still trying to schedule the training with SHPO, where they're going to invite us in January. So we have to get the date on that.
But the training isn't the thing. You're going to have 2 things done.
Yes, 2 things, right? One's a community open wide public thing, and then the other is just a training for us. And then finally, I met with High Meadows School a class a couple of weeks ago, and it's interesting, you guys are here. But so these were 11, 12, 13-year-olds, and they wanted to talk about public service and why it's important for public service. And then they said, how can we help? So they came up with 3 topics they were interested in, which is interesting. It's housing, it's a community center, and it's dogs on leashes. So I guess they've been listening to
Reading the
us a bit.
news.
Sure.
So we're waiting on a proposal, a project they might work on.
Great.
to help us out.
Great stuff. Thanks. Gage, anything new?
Just wanted to mention that Adam Leibovitz from Preservation Committee, Fund Committee, mentioned, sent out there is a invasive species grant that the New York State, it's due December 17th. I talked to Rich about it. I think it might be just too much of a heavy lift to try to get it, but I definitely think if they're looking at, if it's open again next year, it's one that we should think about, the grant we should think about trying to write. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd be willing to maybe work with Dale on that. And because I think, both properties are going to need remediation. So I think it'd be great if we could get some help with that. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
It would be great.
And Marbletown Meadows will be brush hogged soon. And that's all part of
The plan, right?
the plan to keep it healthy. We've spoken to people who maintain farms and large properties, and they all recommend brush hogging it, and possibly again in March. They said definitely in the fall and possibly in March. We've all been getting a tremendous amount of emails from residents and people
next door.
who don't want us to cut it.
I can just sure if you spend any time up at Mohawk Preserve, which I do quite a bit, they brush hog every single at this time of year. In fact, they do it a little sooner than we are doing it, and that's one of the reasons why they have such beautiful meadows is because they do brush hog. And
Absolutely.
So it's essential. Otherwise, we're not. All these pretty flowers you're seeing now are not going to be there. It's just going to be a
They're gonna
lot
be
of
choked out by the invasive species and weeds.
trees.
trees.
Yeah.
Who does the brush hogging?
Eric Nelson has done it for years and years, and he's going to do it again this year for us. So I think $1,900, he'll do everything, and it'll be good. So, yep. Yeah, Eric used to work for, still does, works for Mr. Osterhout. So it was Osterhout's field.
Oh,
Eric
yeah, right.
Eric brush hogged it and hayed it when they were haying it. This is probably the first year in a few years they didn't hay it because it's been hayed for 11 acres in the back were hayed. Up front would just be brush hogged. So, and then there was corn there for a while too. So, all right. So the fun portion, public hearings, this is the end of the meeting. People can speak. We'll let Vivi go first. If you'd like to speak about anything on your mind in the town, just let us know. So start with Vivi.
Tim, you had said that in case we don't get the money, the big money, and you were going to
Plan B.
What do we have?
initiate other sources of income. How is that coming?
It's reflecting, researching at this point,
What does that
but
mean?
nothing to report.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, we'll get to that bridge if we find out we have to, and then we'll go from there. We've been in contact and on emails and,
Yeah, they know that we're waiting to hear about.
yeah,
I know what you're talking about. They're waiting to hear about what Grant is going to say, and then
and then we'll
then
go
we're-
from there.
They're
Yes, but I mean, evidently the meeting you held where I was not present, they said you had to make a decision on this in a certain amount of time.
No.
And I was
Well,
hoping that
No, we're,
in time.
No,
we would
a certain amount of
have-
time after we find out from the
Let me just
grant.
finish.
yeah,
We would have a plan B going.
Yeah.
So that we would not be pressured into getting rid of the center.
I mean, I think the point about the grant, we won't hear anything before November 1st, but after, so we don't know when we're going to hear. It could
It'd be December.
It could be December, January,
I
February.
understand.
I hear you saying we need to be,
But,
planning.
if we should hear it November 1st and it's negative, I'm just
Yeah.
hoping that something will be in the works.
We have a plan B will start the next day, which was a lot of your help. So to get there. So I don't think we want to go that route until we find the other route because you don't want to be going two different routes and then, then you've wasted other people's time.
That was what Tim was going to do.
Well, no, we have.
Yeah, we want to be prepared. We're also looking for other grants that
Yeah, that's
Also-
what I mean.
may be on the
Great.
calendar.
And we can always see Mr. Buffett.
Yeah, well, that's all stuff we're gonna discuss, so thanks, Phoebe. Okay.
Rich, did you want to talk about the EV?
Oh,
thing that
yes,
town has coming up?
that's Friday?
24th, yep, and then November 1st is the.
Right.
thing. Do you want
So Friday, the 24th, down
to?
at Town Park, right, is gonna be a little dedication to the 3 EV chargers that were installed down there.
15.
Well, 3 down there.
So, yeah. but then they're
You're gonna go to every one, but not everybody's gonna go to every one. It's gonna kind of meet down there
At noon.
at noon.
So that's a press event.
Right.
Friday at noon at the town park.
Yep.
And then on November 1st, he's organizing a jog bike tour that takes you from the park
Oh,
through.
I
the
thought it was the
town.
same day.
No,
It was so confusing reading that.
Because he's using
Okay,
this Friday's event to advertise
I got it.
the event on the 1st.
I thought it was
Yeah,
all in one
I
day.
know. It's 2 separate events.
Okay.
And then he's gonna jog and bike with people from spot to spot and visit all the EV charges.
Right.
Through town, the library, the municipal center, the college, down to the golf course. And celebrate. Can I just tell you, the state average is 1 per 11,000 people. That's how many EV chargers there are in the state. In Marbletown, we have 1 per 200. So we're like leading the way on
1 per 11,000, that seems
yeah, in the
That's odd.
state.
Well, they're adding New York City. You
And the-
take out New York City,
In the
it'd be a lot
county,
better.
it's 1 per 1,800, but we're still far ahead of that. So that's how I'm doing that.
That's good, but let's hope the usage is there. Because so far I haven't seen it much usage from any of them.
Speaking of usage, Ken, I don't know if I can ask you, are they functional now?
Yeah,
Because they were
yes.
replaced.
Okay, I don't mean to be, they're really confusing to use. I mean, he said he's gonna come up with
He
really
has-
specific
He
instructions.
has instructions that he's gonna laminate, and put them on every
Okay,
charger.
they're confusing. I didn't know that.
I thought so, and I couldn't get it. And part of the problem is they don't have them numbered yet, so you don't, but there's this whole thing, you gotta go, anyway, it's fine,
Okay.
it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think you got used to it.
But they are all functional now.
All 15 are
Yeah,
functional.
They are.
So it's
And the
20
six on
it's
town property
24
are
It's
functional.
So
because
it's
of the co-op.
24 total, because we had 9, now it's 15 new.
Well, we took 2 away. At the community center, we had 2. We took those away and added 3, so it's a net of 1.
Yeah, so in his press release, he says.
It's
so
fine. It's all
a total
good.
of 24, which is great for a town like this.
Yeah. No, it's,
That's Tom's work.
yeah. And thank, the co-op, the library,
Yeah.
and the Sun Creek for
Right,
partnering with us to do that.
right.
Which is
And
really
so maybe you can post that on the town.
Yep,
So people have that.
I definitely will.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, any other questions from anybody?
Do we have to get something signed?
We usually make you come back to another meeting and then we'll sign it. No, we'll sign it. You can come up front. So, all right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Yes, definitely.
So
Yeah, you guys could come